Sparking Change for Harmonious Living is a TV show that inspires action. It motivates you to start a journey towards a more balanced, fulfilling life. This show explores well-being through spirituality, mental clarity, and physical health. It covers topics like mindfulness, nutrition, fitness, and spirituality, giving you practical advice to enhance your life. Tune in for a transformative adventure that ignites the change you seek.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sparking Change for Harmonious Living. I am your host, Giovanna Tartarone.
And I'm your co-host, Ahmed Bahman.
Welcome, Ahmed. Welcome, everyone. So today's show, we're going to talk about empowerment, taking charge of your health. And we're going to do it through a real story. Ahmed is going to share with us a journey that he went on to, a health journey, to show us how, how did he take charge and feel empowered in his situation. Tell us, Ahmed, about your story.
Before I share my story, I just want to explain that life is always forever moving. As Bob always said, mind is movement and body is the manifestation of that movement. So this movement never stops. You can't stop time. You can't manage time, but you can manage your activities. Now, the thing is this: as you progress in age, there's always going to be something called change. Physiological changes happen, right?
Of course, always.
Yeah, it's just the biological cycle of life, if I would say. Now, I like one quote by Napoleon Hill where he said that change is inevitable, but personal growth is a choice.
It's a choice. I love that. Absolutely.
And when we get in a tight situation, in a corner in life sometimes, I like to always view it as nothing but more than a setback. And what do we know about setbacks? It's a setup for a comeback. So
I love that. Say that again. I love that.
A setback is nothing but a setup for a comeback.
Absolutely.
And the way Les Brown put it, he said, if you're ever going to fall down, make sure that you fall down on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up.
Guys, I hope you're writing this down. This is amazing. I love those, especially rhymes. Right? You can always remember that. Very good. Very good.
You see, the way that Les Brown said it, the way that other authors said it, they say it in such a way that it carries a rhythm, as if like it has its frequency that it can actually help you embedded within you. And I literally took all these quotes into my heart. So no matter what happens in my life, mentally, I'm well equipped because I've conditioned myself that way. And, and things happen in life at times, right? And it was a point in my life where I'm normal. I'm healthy. I'm always health conscious. But it just developed for me at once where I was driving and I was getting this head spin. And it's like, even though I keep my head straight, but it's like as if I'm falling. You get a falling sensation.
Yeah.
So it's so similar, like losing your balance.
And I've had that happen.
It lasted for like a few seconds, and then I find myself balancing back out again. Now, I had a severe pain in my left ear. Now, I said, okay, probably it's an ear infection. So I went for a visit to the ENT. And all this time that I was going there, I did not allow any negative thoughts to penetrate in my mind, and especially in my feelings. And I just said, whatever it is, there's nothing to worry about. I remembered one time prior where I went through a lot of health conditions. And I visited a Indian grocery store. And the owner of that store grabbed his newspaper because I was complaining to him about my health. And he smacked me on my head and he said, "You're stupid." And I said, "Excuse me?" I said, "I have pain. Why are you smacking me on my head?" And he goes, "You're stupid." And I didn't realize, but he was right, because he told me the thoughts that you hold in your mind, based on what you're thinking and how you're feeling, starts to produce certain chemical reactions within you from the brain, that you start to get all of these sensations to starts manifesting inside of you. And he told me, tell yourself that all is well and I am fine. And I've
The
used that
shift in words
affirmation.
alone, the shift
Yes.
in words alone will
Yes.
absolutely make you feel better. I
So
agree.
for around 14 years, I've been holding this affirmation. Whenever I go through any health condition, I always remind myself that all is well and I am fine. Because what happens is I am tapping into ease instead of putting myself into a situation where I'm creating more of the dis-ease.
That's right. That's absolutely right.
So we
Having
understand.
and you're feeling empowered doing that. You feel
Absolutely.
empowered doing that.
It's a
Wow.
choice.
It is a choice. It is a choice. And I have to say, because of your level of awareness in
Yes.
how the universe works,
Yes.
because you study the laws of the universe. There are laws in this universe. The understanding of this frequency and the vibration we put out there truly mirrors back to us,
Absolutely. And
right?
I've said
Wow.
Andrew Carnegie's quote over and over again through many episodes,
Mm,
and I'm going to repeat it again. Any idea that's held in the mind, that's emphasized, that's either feared or
fear or
revered,
review.
whether bad or good, will begin at once to clothe itself in the most convenient physical form that's available.
That's right.
It speaks volumes.
And then
If
what I just want to add to that, and whatever you hold in your mind, like you just said at the beginning,
yes,
right, will become your experience.
will become your experience in the end. You're
Wow.
creating it as you go. So I held in my mind, now, given that, did I ever think I have an infection? Maybe. Did I think it could have been something else? Probably, but I did not want to pay attention to that. The key is this: don't focus on what you don't want. Just focus on what is it that you really want as an outcome, and take that as a truth, and try to feel what it's like when you feel that there is nothing, that everything is fine and you're well. So I went to the doctor, and I had my sister to drive me there because she was afraid that I might lose control, with another head spin while I'm driving. And upon the examination, I sat there and I said, I didn't want to come. My sister wanted me to come, because I was holding an
You
empowering
wanted to be
affirmation.
thick-head. Okay.
And then he tells me, well, let me check. So he checked my nose, he checked my throat, he checked my ears. And I said, I'm fine. He said, you're fine? I said, yeah. So he said, okay, close your eyes and try to stand straight, for 2 minutes. I was wobbling, I have to admit. But he told me, he said, you don't have any infection. I said, okay. I knew, I held a strong belief that I'm well.
Yeah.
He said, what you have is a condition called vertigo. And it's pretty common, as
Yes, it is.
we've discussed earlier, but I have
Mhm.
never experienced as such. And then he went on, he gave me a list of medications to take. And, when I'm looking at the list of medications, he gave me steroids, painkillers, antibiotics, and a couple of other medicines in order to keep me in balance. But when I look at it, I said, I don't want to take antibiotics. Antibiotics, what does it mean? It means anti-life. Now I'm pro-life, so I went to God's antibiotics that I could get my hands on, and I made myself a very powerful homeopathic concoction from all the things that I've learned throughout my life, and I've just put them together. And within a couple of days, the pain started to dwindle down. The head spinning started to subside. Now, here's the thing. Because I held in my mind that I am well and I am fine, I also got, through my intuition, to search for certain things, as an example, health-wise.
Absolutely.
One thing led to another. Because what happens is when you keep yourself focused on a level of frequency, all the things that is related to that frequency, you'll start to attract. Now, I was seeking health, and I was seeking to empower myself the more natural way as much as possible.
So let's just take a minute to talk about if we did not, if we were disempowered and we were on the negative side, feeling fearful, right?
Yeah.
I know, and as well as you, that when we're in fear, we cannot be in faith.
No.
When we want to feel well, there's no room for feeling sick. So it's either or. Like, where are you taking your mind? Because at the end of the day, you said it's a choice. Where is our mind taking us? When it's in that, I know there's a knowing that you're going to be okay. You have faith that everything's going to be okay. Your doors are open to receive this information from your intuitive sense, right?
Yes.
Like, okay, what do I need to do to feel better? Versus when you are in fear, the door is closed. Your thinking cap is off, right? We can't think of how to feel better if we're so concerned about staying sick and not getting well.
You see, I don't like to focus on sickness. I like to focus on health. That's one.
Right.
And two, fear, FEAR, false evidences appearing real, will also result in false emotions appearing real. But there's another acronym for that, which is face everything and rise. So if you want to grow through it, you got to go through it. Now,
Yes.
faith takes time. And it takes even longer time when you don't totally understand the law or if you don't believe in these laws. So we have to establish belief. But
Absolutely.
you need faith to go along with it. Now, repetition is a very, very powerful thing. Now, a lot of people would say, like if you
So here's a
converse
tip,
with them,
everybody. Write this down. Repetition, yeah?
the repetition is key. You'd converse with someone, you've explained to them, for example, how to establish faith into something, and then a couple of days later, you ask them, "Do you believe in what I said?" And a lot of them will say yes. But then when you look at their behavior and their actions, you think it's otherwise. You tell them, "Well, I don't think you still believe it." And so, no, I do believe in it. The question is, if you're not acting accordingly to what you've been instructed
Right.
to, and if you have not been following the process properly, you will not act in that certain way. As Wallace Waddle said, it's not what you do, but it's how you do it. Right? It has a lot to do with intention. It has a lot to do with you grabbing a pen, writing things as you wish to see them to be true. You empower yourself by your own choice. I have a choice to use disempowering affirmations. But guess what? I'll fall into the fear category, and I will be basically submitting to whatever the doctor is going to tell me. Much even worse than that is that if I would hold to a negative idea long enough, I would manifest something that I really, really don't want to be experiencing. I forgot what was the name of a general one time. Our late mentor Bob Proctor discussed. He said, "Loathe what I have feared the most have come to visit upon me." No, I don't want to be in that situation. So position yourself mentally. Use your pen. Write your affirmations, regardless anything that you want to change in your life, but write as if it is in the present tense in an empowering way.
That's right.
That you are living the positive outcome of that situation.
And
Now,
and being grateful for it, right?
and being grateful for it. You see, gratitude keeps you hooked with the source of unlimited supply.
Absolutely.
And gratitude makes things move faster towards you. Because the more grateful you are for something, like you're sick, for an example. I don't want to think of you as such, but if you're holding on to a situation where you want to improve your health, feel inside of you, how would being healthy feel like for you? You know, give thanks to that. Now, it doesn't mean, most people say, why would I want to give thanks to something that it's not here yet? Well,
Right.
everything moves from spirit to form. It's in your psyche. So if it's not there physically manifested yet, but in the spiritual realm, it does exist. So when you're thanking for something, that if you could conceive it in your mind, mental image, and if you could induce that emotion, that is proof that its physical equivalent does exist. And with using gratitude, you will enforce it into the present moment, into your life. Now, it does take time. There is something called the
And
gestation
practice, yes.
period.
Mm-hmm.
But you will establish belief over time. And when you have belief, your belief will create the fact.
The fact. But here is the kicker, is that the first thing you have to believe in is in yourself. In yourself.
Yes.
That it is possible for you to have whatever it is you want, whether it's health or anything else. You have to believe that you deserve it, that you're worthy to receive it, and that the only one that really stops you from getting it is you. Is you. The belief about whether you can have it or not. And, that is one thing that you and I both, through our transformation, experienced that shift in truly believing that we have the power to manifest whatever it is we want as long as we believe it. And we condition our mind to understand that we are in charge of us. Our decisions that we make, our choices that we make, create our reality. And when we accepted that, now we start to think a different way. We start to speak a different way and see the world differently, right? So it's the change within us that we embrace that gives us more power to have what we want in life.
And as Bob always said, he said, you're God's highest form of creation because God has blessed us with a mind. He said, you shouldn't be getting by. And your world, the experience that you have, the conditions that you live in, is nothing but a reflection of the conditioning that's inside. Now, if you change that conditioning within you, the world must change to the changed person as a reflection.
That's right. The other day I was in the car and this song by Michael Jackson came on, Man in the Mirror. It's just a perfect song to really talk about what we're saying right here. If you want to see change, you have to be the change. We can't, that's how we feel empowered to take charge of everything about us. Our, every experience in life that we have, it starts with us.
Absolutely. As Earl Nightingale said, he said the world is nothing but a reflection of your predominant mental attitude.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
your attitude is basically a combination of your thoughts, feelings, and actions. When they're all in sync.
So it comes down to, we keep mentioning over and over again your conditioning, right? And let's understand that our conditioning happens at a very early stage in life when we're very, very young. And everything that we experience when we're young, if it's an emotional impact to us,
Yes.
we will carry that forward. A simple story about a young girl, she was less than 5. Her dog, the tail of her dog hit her in the right side of the face when she was very small. And growing up, she conditioned herself mentally that there was something wrong with the right side of her face. So anytime she had to take pictures with friends and family, her school picture, she always turned to the left because mentally she felt that impact of that tail hitting her face, and she cried and cried, and they put ice on her face. Like, she remembers all those details, that she kept that memory, and everything she's done after that on the right side of her face, she never wanted to take a picture on the right side. So unconsciously, she did not even notice that until somebody pointed it out to her to say, why are you always turned to the left side? And she told the story. And this is the same thing that happens to us with any other thing that might occur in our life, is that we have a conditioned mind based on the experiences we had when we were young, and we seem to play on that program when we make decisions when we're older. So it's really, the change we have to make is to change those experiences, the perception of those experiences, to something else, in order for us to, let go and tap into our power to feel and have what we want,
Absolutely.
right?
It's you need to rescript your own life by reframing your mind. Now,
That's right.
James Allen said he had a poem. He's an author. He wrote a book
Mhm.
called As a Man Thinketh in 1903.
Yeah,
But I'll never forget his poem. He said, mind is the master power that molds and makes, and man is mind, and evermore he takes the tool of thought, and shaping what he wills, brings forth 1,000 joys, 1,000 ills, either or. He thinks in secret, and it comes to pass. Environment is but his looking
but his
glass.
looking glass. Yeah, so beautiful, so beautiful. And I think people really know that on a conscious level,
Yes.
but really don't make the connection how true it is, or can't even imagine how to change it. And I remember speaking to someone who said, I watch TV because I want to stop the mind from going, right? But in actually watching TV creates more trouble for the mind, because what are they putting on the TV is something
Negative
to
news.
program your negative stuff, right? So it's like, you really truly have to take control, and the mind is like a muscle. You got to practice, like you said, do affirmations, think about what you want and practice those affirmations. um Auto suggestion, we learn how powerful that can be, right?
Absolutely.
So it's really taking charge, and having a positive mental attitude is probably the number one way to open up yourself to learning something new. Because if you're negative,
Absolutely.
you're shutting the doors. Positive is opening up the doors to learning
Uh,
something new. Any final words on taking charge?
Absolutely. Two things remember to always keep in practice on a daily basis, because everybody goes through multiple situations. So you have to use the faculty of perception
Mm.
with the law of polarity. Same
So
thing.
let's describe the law of polarity really quick, because it's so important.
Everything has opposites.
Mhm.
Your perception is looking at a certain direction, either to the worst or to the best. So if there's something going wrong, just start to look at it in a different way. What are the things that can happen that can make it go right? Tony Robbins had a course where people are usually worried about, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if something, something all negative? But then he raises the question, what if something great happens? So what you're doing, there's always an opposite for everything.
Absolutely.
Just make sure you align with the empowering positive side all the time.
Absolutely.
And you'll have a perception shift. And that would make you feel way better. And you'll feel empowered.
Absolutely. So beautifully said. So thank you, everyone, for joining us today. I hope you did get inspired and empowered with this show. Until next time, I want to wish all of you happy holidays, Merry Christmas. I don't know if we're going to see each other until next Friday, right? Because next Friday will be past. But I wish you and your family beautiful holidays.
Happy holidays,
Thank you for joining
everyone.
us. Okay,
Thank you.
bye-bye.
Thank you for joining me on Sparking Change for Harmonious Living. I hope that our episode today has ignited a spark within you to create positive change in your own life and in the world around you. To learn more about how you can become a guest or supporter, head over to sparkingchangenow.com. If you enjoyed today's episode, please consider subscribing, sharing, and leaving a review. Your feedback is incredibly valuable to me, and it helps me to continue producing content that sparks change in each of us and the world. You can find us on various platforms, including Google Play Store, Apple App Store, YouTube, Facebook, Roku, Android TV, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Thank you again for watching, and I look forward to having you join me again next week on Sparking Change for Harmony.